Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Allison and today we are going to be reviewing the Profusion Pro Pigment Palette. Why did I just say that so dorkily? Oh my god. I just wanted to let you guys know I did use quite a few Profusion products. I used the contour makeup case to contour and bronze and highlight. I love this. If you watch me, you know that. And then also I used their 6-pan blush palette. Awesome. I think this was $4.99 and this was $6.99, something like that. Both of these are slam dunks. This is not a first impressions video. I have used the palette quite a few times, so want to put that out there. Anyways, if you do find this video helpful and you like it, please be sure to go down there and smash that like button. And if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing before you go. I really appreciate that more than you will ever know. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification so that you are reminded every time I upload. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the review and demo. Alright, so I am looking a little funky right now because I have my entire face done except for this eye. We are going to be demoing this Profusion Pro Pigment palette here. I picked this up at Target for $9.99. It does come with this dual-ended synthetic brush. And it's just like the Eye and Cheek palette brush that I got. One side is like a shader packing brush and the other side is more of a blending crease brush. It's pretty big and full. Overall, it's not my favorite brush, but it will get the job done. If you want to see how it works, you can check out the review I did on the Eye and Cheek palette, and I'll go ahead and link that in the eyes up here for you. But today I'm not going to use this brush, I'm going to use my own. So in this palette, you are getting a total of 21 eyeshadows. There, as you can see, is not a mirror in here, but to me, that's not a big deal. There is a combination of mattes, shimmers, and some like shimmery glittery shades, and some of the glitter shades are much more like just glitter. For example, Frosting and Shimmy, these two shades have a ton of glitter and they're kind of chunky, so I'm thinking the best way to apply these are with a glitter glue, and when I swatch them you'll see what I mean, but there is definitely a ton of chunkier glitter in those shades. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off just demoing the product for you. After that, I will move into swatches, and then to wrap things up, I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So let me go ahead and zoom you in for the demo. Okay, nice and up close. Oh, baby girl, you okay? Yeah, okay. Let me go ahead and just start by priming my eyes. I'm gonna use the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer in the shade Fair. I am obsessed with this. I picked it up at Marshall's for $4.99 and I'm really hoping they're not discontinuing it. I need to go online and check because I think this might be my favorite eyeshadow, not concealer, eyeshadow primer. I don't even know what I just said, but I think it's my new primer favorite eyeshadow. I can't talk. All right, so I am going to start off with a combination of this shade Bestie and Fling right here on a mid-size blending brush. This is the Crown C511, very similar to, I think it's the Morphe M433, just for reference, and a lot of people use that brush, but I'm just gonna pop it in here and in here. And I will say, compared to my Eye and Cheek palette, I don't feel like there's as much powderiness or kickback going on. Like when I put my brush in here, the powder doesn't go everywhere. In the Eye and Cheek palette, I definitely noticed a lot of kickback. I did not set the eyeshadow primer. I've seen a lot of people using that technique. I have always set my primer or concealer before going in with eyeshadow. It just, that technique has never worked for me. However, since using this Kat Von D Lock-It primer, I have really enjoyed that technique. So I'm just lightly going into that transition area and just all over in circular motions, windshield wiper motions. And when I started creating this look, I kind of wanted to go in and do something that was a little bit more transitional into fall because I can't believe it. Saturday is fall. By the time I get this up, who knows what day it's gonna be. Today is Friday. So I wanted to do, I'll put a look up, I'll insert it so you can see it that I did with more of the berries and all of that. Those shades were all very beautiful and I had so much fun playing with the palette, but I did want to use some of the warmer, more fall-esque, if you will, shades. And I'm gonna switch up my brush again. This is, it's a crown brush sort of tay. This is the Crown Pro C528. This is really nice for getting into the crease and blending out so you don't have harsh lines, but you get a really nice deposit of color. And I'm going to concentrate more towards like the outer section here. And I'm keeping this like a pretty light look. I'm going to pick the kids up from school and I'm walking in today, so I don't feel like looking all crazy. Now that I've laid that down, I'm gonna be lazy and I'm gonna try not switching my brush, but I just tapped into this shade called Bestie, and I'm just going to concentrate on this outer section of my lid, kind of tapping it in, working up to the crease. So as you can see, like really no problems laying down those shades. I feel like Devoted, it looks warmer to me in the pan. And when it goes on, I wish it did have a little bit more of a richness to it, but I like it. I think it works and I'm not mad at it. Now I'm going to grab this Alamar Cosmetics brush. It's a pretty full synthetic hair blending brush that I got in BoxyCharm recently, and while the brush looks similar to the one that comes in the palette, I find that it's just a much better quality. With absolutely nothing on the brush, I'm just blending everything out. Now with another brush by Alamar, and I don't know if these have any like names on them. They really don't. But it looks kind of like a synthetic small concealer brush. I really like brushes like this to apply shimmer shades that I wet with Fix Plus, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into the shade right here called Power Up, followed by this shade right here, and that's called Crackle. So I just dipped into Power Up. Now I'm going to spritz my brush with Fix Plus, and I'm going to concentrate right here where I left off. I mean, look at that. I don't know if you guys can see how rich that color is. Oh. And just work that across to almost the inner corner, but not quite. I'm just kind of blending all of that out. Is it Copper Ring that it reminds me of by MAC? I don't remember, but really pretty. Now I'm gonna go into Crackle. Crackle has a bit more of like glitter in it, and I'm gonna concentrate this more towards the center of the eye. And I'm just kind of going over exactly what I did with Power Up. All right, and then moving straight into this inner corner part of my eye, not quite the inner corner, but this part of my lid, I should say. I'm gonna go into, what is it called? This shade right here called Dizzy, and it's kind of a duochrome, like a pink to a champagne gold shift. It's pretty. Spritz with Fix Plus. Go on in. And then I just kind of make sure that I don't have any harsh lines. Now I'm going to pop just a little bit of shimmy right here, right on the center of my lid. Again, a little bit of Fix Plus on the brush after I dip in. And I'm just really, it's important with these more glittery shades to kind of tap it on, but this is a really, really pretty color. Now with a very teeny tiny detail brush, I'm going to go into my inner corner, and I'm going to take this little brush and I am going to go into a combination of Lively and Atomic. There are so many shades in this palette that are duochromatic and like just stunning. stunning. And I'm just going to go back into a little bit of Fling, which is that lightest matte shade in the palette, and just kind of buff everything out with my blending brush. I think we're looking pretty even there. So I'm gonna start again, basically doing the same thing I did on my upper lid. I'm gonna go into Fling and Bestie with that little precision brush and actually use that on my lower lash line and just kind of take it most of the way across. This is just gonna be what makes it look nice and smoked out, not too harsh. So it doesn't have to be right up under, like you can take it down a little bit and that's okay. But I take it to about here. Now I'm gonna go in with the Vintage Cosmetic Step 3 brush right up under my lash line, and I'm dipping into Devoted right here. Now I'm gonna grab Power Up again and my little Alamar, I'm gonna call it a concealer brush for now. Put some Fix Plus on there and just get it like right in the center, kind of mirroring what we did on the top lid. And then my brush is still a little bit wet, and I'm gonna do Crackle like we did before right over it. And then going more into the inner part of my eye, I'm gonna go back into Dizzy, spray it with Fix Plus. I really enjoy this Dizzy shade. I've been gravitating towards these lately. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of Atomic, that like white color that we did in the inner corner here. I'm just gonna put that right in there. And then that gold shimmy color right in the center. I'm just really like tapping that on. I feel like I get the most color payoff when I'm like tapping. I did a little bit of Nebula just because it's such a pretty color and I used it as eyeliner. Taking another Alamar Cosmetics flat like definer brush, I'm gonna go into Nebula, spray it with Fix Plus, and then line. Now Nebula definitely has a lot of glitter, so this was a little trickier than anticipated, but I think using this over like a black would be gorgeous. I had to take it about 3/4 of the way in. Go ahead and do the same on the bottom. So that's it for the eyeshadow application. I'm gonna just go ahead and put on some mascara, come back real quick and show you what everything looks like real close. So this is the finished look. I did realize that I forgot to do my brow bone highlight on camera. I did that with a combination of Lively and Atomic. It's exactly what I used for the inner corner highlight. So I'll get real close. I'm like really impressed with these eyeshadows. I really am. Ooh, am I focused? Hopefully you guys can see why. All right, let me back out and do some swatches for you. All right, I am contemplating doing some live swatches here, but I'm like the worst. Precious has a lot of glitter in it, but it's still really pretty. Lively, Atomic, and this is another glittery shade. Fling is that taupey neutral matte, and that looks terrible. It's so much better than that. Let me do that again. It's like really creamy actually. I really enjoy the mattes. And Poppy, Frosting. Now these glittery shades, I'm not like 100% sure about them. I'll go through and I'll point out the ones that I don't love. I just don't love the texture of them. Now Shimmy, for whatever reason, is a real similar texture. I just like that color a lot. Beloved. And this is Dizzy. Rush. So for whatever reason, this Rush shade is not really showing up. I'd say this is probably one of my least favorite shades in the palette, but let's move on. Devoted. And then this is that really pretty pop of purple called Disco. And it looks like pinkier to me when you see it swatched and not in the pan, but it's still pretty. Jive, Bestie, Crackle. This looks so jacked up because I kept going out of focus, but this is actually a good color. All three of these are really good. Power Up, Adorn, Bordeaux, Queen, Go Girl, Nebula, and there you have it, folks. I live swatched, you guys. I'm so not good at it. Do I think it's worth it for $9.99? Absolutely. Do I think that there are some slam dunk shades and then some shades that I probably won't use? Definitely. My absolute favorite, I think, for the formula is Adorn. This shade right here. I love Adorn, and then I would have to say probably Power Up. Like, they're just really creamy and buttery. I do like the mattes, I would say, the most. I think they're the most consistent. I'm not a big fan of the glittery shades. This right here, Precious, Frosting, Shimmy, and Nebula. I don't love the formula of those. Like, they're pretty powdery. It reminds me of that Maybelline Master, what was it? Not the Master Chrome, was it the Master Prism? I don't know what it was, but it was like this highlighter that it's more chunky than anything else. I don't know if you can see it in the pan either, but it's powdery, glittery, and a mess. Nebula's not as bad, but it is harder to work with than I would like. I'm not really sure what the rhyme or reason is because I do feel like Frosting and Shimmy is the gold one, are very similar formulas, but I like Shimmy much more than I like Frosting. The formulas aren't consistent for me, but I still really enjoy this palette when I use it. Just bear that in mind. Do with that info what you will. If you guys have tried any Profusion products that you love, that you think I need to try, let me know in the comment section down below because I am a big fan of this brand and I'd like to continue to try more. I think I might pick up the Sienna's palette, but I'll be interested to see what you have to say. I am proud of myself that I live swatched, you guys. So that does it for this review slash demo. I do hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing before you go. I am getting so close to 1,000 subs. It's really exciting for me. I know that 1,000 subs isn't a lot to a lot of people, but it means a lot to me. It's given me a little bit of validation here because I've been a little bit in a slump, feeling stuck. So yeah. Also be sure to turn on your bell notification so that you are notified every time I upload. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!